Shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you. So please, don't hide, just say I'll be there if it breaks, right beside you. Suddenly I know now how it feels. I no longer have to beg or steal. I can stand now on this higher ground, where love is just a sound, where love is...
I messed it up already. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Sunday. As you can see, I'm flying solo this morning. I'm all by myself. So April's not feeling well. She has COVID. It's still going around, guys. We're how many years now? This is 2020, 4 years. 4 years going strong, and COVID is still lingering. So you've got me all by myself. For all the Canadian people this morning, good morning. We're coming up to Canada Day weekend. Hope you guys have been having a good weekend, partying, maybe not a little too hard. Tomorrow is Canada Day, so there's quite a bit of activities going on. We have a long weekend, which is a lot of fun. I know that we've been taking it pretty easy here in our house. We have some Canada Day stuff that we're doing tomorrow. Going to a local park. They have fireworks over the water. And for my US friends, I guess you guys have July 4th coming up too. So it's a pretty busy week with a lot of people having some fun and some party time and enjoying some company with friends and drinks, right? So hope everyone's had a great week so far. It's been a weird week. For myself, it's been really busy. Like, I haven't been able to really keep up with what's going online. I don't know if there's been a lot of stuff happening, but I can tell you I haven't been aware of it because I haven't really been paying much of attention to it. Started the gym yesterday. That was quite interesting. Took pre-workout for the first time in like 8 years. I have to say, I kind of missed it. It was nice. Having Flawless Geckos on two episodes past was really motivating because I know that for them they're really inspiring and you know, for myself I think fitness kind of took a little bit of a you know, a back seat, and I decided to kind of bring it back into my life. I know Gerald right now, he's popped into the chat. He's watching from the gym. So I'm going to swear this morning. This fucker has gone to the gym without me because he knew I had the podcast this morning, but he's tuning in. But yeah, he's gone to get his workout in, and he was kind of making fun of me because I said I wanted to do one this morning too, but there's no way. I'm going on a Sunday morning at 4 a.m. just so I can be back in time to get ready and get everything set for this podcast. So let's see who's joined us this morning. We have G in the chat. Hello and good morning, everyone from the gym. Hope he's got a good workout in this morning. We've got Shauna in the house. Good morning, Shauna. Hope all is well. Natty's Micro Pets. Good morning. And we got the fat man in the house as well. Oh, I don't think April has the kung flu. I think she's just being lazy. Well, she said she couldn't get out of bed. But you know what? I think you appreciate that because I don't think you'd want someone, if she actually did have COVID, I don't think you'd want her up on the screen coughing and looking all sick. It's not really, you know, the attractive podcast look that you want to come up on the screen and like, you know, gross people out first thing on a Sunday morning. So I appreciate that she decided not to be on here if she's not feeling very well. But she must be super sick because I don't see her in the comments. So she must be sleeping. I'll give her a hard time about that later. She's in bed, but she could still be watching. Good morning, Sly Kittens. Hope you're doing well this morning. Oh, yeah. G says he's got the pump and he's driving home now. I'm just wondering. I don't think he has any pre-workout, so I'm wondering if he's using my girly pre-workout because I ordered this new one, Alani New, and you can't order it through their website. You have to go on Amazon to get it because they won't deliver from their website to Canada. Um, Definitely not as strong as the stuff I used to take when I was working out really heavily. But probably good for me for where I'm at right now. Like it's probably not a good idea for me to take that Jekyll and Hyde stuff that he used to take because that stuff's pretty strong. And he's saying, no, oh, so he bought C4. So he bought a different type of pre-workout. He's not using the one that I got. He's not using my girly one. He thought it tasted weird. It was too tropical. His fat man saying, man, I was dead on with the watching thing. Watch. Oh, okay. And she says, look at the girls on full screen. Yeah, I know. I'm wearing my little low cut top this morning. So yeah, so I mean, weather's been super weird over here. We had the huge heat stroke last week, and this week it like dropped down to like 8 degrees in some evenings. Like it was super cold. So it's been kind of flip-flop. Yesterday we had a whole bunch of rain. Um so it's been kind of like a movie day and TV show. I finally caught up on the season 2. Well, I guess there's 2 episodes. The third one's coming out tonight for House of the Dragon. I know Chris is not a huge fan of House of the Dragon. This season seems to be a lot better than the first one. I had mentioned this before here that I had watched the first season of House of the Dragon, got really into it, and never watched Game of Thrones. So that is what got me onto Game of Thrones. And watched all of Game of Thrones and loved it. So now I'm pretty happy that season 2 for House of the Dragon's out, but it just definitely is not the same as Game of Thrones. And then I completely watched all the seasons of Bridgerton. And that one I have to tell you is pretty good. Like I was very surprised. I didn't think I was going to like it at all. I did get the books because after season 3 I kind of wanted to know what happens next. So I'm not a big reader. I started one of the books. We'll see if I can get into it. I know that, we go to the beach a lot in the summertime. We have a beach nearby and the kids like to go play. So my daughter likes to go and swim. So maybe it'll be a beach reading book. We'll see. But definitely need something with a little less racy content for the gym. So one thing I'm going to ask everybody who's watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're tuning in later, if you can pop in the comments, not in the live chat, but in the actual comments, if you have any shows that you want to recommend, would be really awesome to watch live, because I like to watch certain episodes when I'm doing cardio at the gym, and now I'm getting back into it. And something that's at least, over 30-40 minutes, so I actually going to be able to like stay there and say, okay, I got to push myself harder in this cardio because I want to watch the full episode, and hey, maybe even jump into the next one. So I need some suggestions, because I'm a little lacking now after Bridgerton, and I watched Queen Charlotte was the next one. So now I'm trying to find something other than murder mysteries and documentaries and boring Dateline that's going to keep me interested. What are they saying in here? Oh, the girls look awesome. Crystal making shit happen. Thanks, Chris. Sly Kittens, I just finished Bridgerton as well. Did you like it? Because I'm hooked. That's why I ended up getting the books. Hacks is a good one. Okay, so I started Hacks, Chris, and I really do like it. But I kind of put it on pause. So maybe that's one that I'm going to bring back up, because I did put it on pause to watch Game of Thrones and Bridgerton. But and yeah, you're saying The Boys. I heard you talk about The Boys though on your podcast the other day, and I think it was on my one black friend, my one white friend, and you were saying how raunchy it was. So I don't know if it's really the appropriate show to watch while I'm at the gym. I'm I'm not really one that gets embarrassed really easily, and I don't think many people can actually see what's on my screen anyways when I'm working out. But when it gets pretty busy and you got people beside you, I'm not really wanting some pretty, raunchy scenes to pop up. Plus, it's, kind of kills your mood when you're trying to actually get a good workout in. Resident Alien. Yeah, I got to find out where to watch that. I'll have to find where they have it. So, not much happening really this weekend. I know there's the show out in California. I have a little video that I can pop up here from Tiki's Geckos. They've been showing a lot of stuff going on.
We're at the Reptile Super Show. We're getting ready to vend, and we have some of the craziest gargoyle geckos that have ever produced. I brought them to this show. A Deadpool line male, direct offspring from Deadpool, and some other crazy stuff. So come check it out. Don't miss out. And this show is already looking like it's going to be a crazy one.
So he's brought in, I don't know if you follow, I'm sure a lot of people follow Tiki's and know about the Deadpool line. It's really nice geckos. So he brought actually one Deadpool line one at the show. And he's been posting actively. I haven't seen much going on social media wise, a lot more on the ball python side that I'm noticing a lot of people kind of sharing things and their booth set up. Portuguese Pythons has been sharing a lot. I do kind of wish that the gecko people would share more. I know it's hard, and I told myself when we did the Ottawa Expo that I would try to be a little bit more engaging on social media and share a lot more of what's going on. But then when you're at the booth, if you don't have a lot of help, especially, it's really hard to like stop what you're doing when you have people coming and asking questions and looking what's at the table to like get stuff posted online and make content. So that I found is a bit of a struggle, and we'll have to find a bit of a balance when CRB comes around, because I definitely want to be able to share a lot more stuff, but it is tricky, and you don't want to be the one sitting at the back of the booth on your phone and it looks like you're not paying attention when all you're trying to do is post stuff so other people can see what's going on and maybe join in and check it out. Sly Kitten says, it was good. I definitely got sucked in. But I don't know if I really love this season as much as the first. Okay, you're talking about Bridgerton. Yeah, the last season was kind of weird. And I'm trying to think of how it's the Crescenda stuff. I don't know. I think it's Crescenda, her name. I don't know how that all ties in. It was kind of a weird offshoot storyline in that show, eh? So, I mean, it was predictable with the Colin stuff too, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Started watching The Boys and lost interest at the end of the first season. Tammy, I'd like to, you tell me offline why you lost interest. I'd like to hear it. We will have friends at CRB. Yeah, so we have a bunch of people from the States coming up, and I think we'll talk about that at a later podcast. Do some promo stuff for CRBE as we get closer. We're still a little ways away. We're just coming into July, and CRBE's in September. So I plan on doing a lot more like talking about it and engagement, getting closer to the date and kind of hyping some stuff up. Notice he hasn't done any posts for the Gold Standard Gecko Club. Wondering if he's, yeah, and I'm thinking of chatting with him on that because I think it'd be interesting to kind of get an update on how that's going, because I know that the plan was to eventually have the gecko shows at some other expos, and maybe he's waiting to do it at like a Tinley, or like I'm not sure what the plan is. Be interesting to hear what other shows he's planning on doing it, and to see if there's going to be more participation. I know I would love to participate at some point. I just don't have a gecko that could be an entry, and maybe next year we'll see. But it kind of started off, strong, and then the info kind of fizzled. So I think it'd be important for them to kind of give us some updates on it. Maybe we could have a student volunteer to post social media. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I thought of having my kid do it. That's the other option, but they're not going to be coming to CRBE with us because they're farm sitting. So we'll have to, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think the turnout for all flora fauna was really low. Yeah, but I mean, it's to be expected. It was the first show, right? It was the first time they've ever had the Gold Gecko Standard Club show. They didn't know what to expect. So I think it will pick up. as it becomes more popular. So let's jump into our first segment. I just gotta find it here. All right, so it's been kind of a slow week, I've noticed, but there has been some stuff that's popped out. People who are local to me in the Ottawa area may have seen this pop up. So, Green Space Geckos has decided to put together another local expo for us. So, the Ottawa Valley Reptile and Plant Expo. It's going to be held in Renfrew at the Renfrew Armories and on August 11th. So it's going to be a much smaller, it's a smaller reptile expo, but I think it's going to be more of a place for local people to really get together and get to meet. And, you know, I think it's a nice opportunity for people to kind of get out and meet each other. For small breeders, you know, the next expo for us anyways here in this area in Canada is CRBE, and that's a really big expo, and it's, you know, expensive to vend there, and, you know, not everybody is in a place where they can fill a table for CRBE or even have the ability to get all the marketing stuff, you know, the banners, maybe the merch or the setup for CRBA. I know is also as of July 1st, you have to have expo display cases now, so you can't have deli cups. So things like that is a huge investment for a lot of small breeders coming in, and this is a good opportunity for people to kind of get to meet other individuals within the community, whether or not you want to vend or if you're looking just to go out and meet other people and get to learn, you know, of the different breeders that you have. I don't know. I don't think I'll be vending at this one because I'm basically prepping for CRBE, but I will definitely go. If I do end up having a table, it's probably going to be a Coffees and Cresties table. I'm not sure how that's going to look yet. We'll see. I'm still thinking about it. If anyone has any ideas they want to share with me or how they would like, maybe you guys want to see a Coffees and Cresties, I think I might go there and maybe do more social media and push it out more. Since, you know, a lot of people, it's going to be, some individuals, it's going to be their first time maybe vending, and that they're not going to, like me, when I had, you know, the Ottawa show was the first time I vended with Gecko Diva, but it was not the first show I've ended because I did stuff with VIP Morphs. So it can be a little overwhelming. I know that Rosemere Geckos is going to have a huge section there too, and they're pretty seasoned. You see them at all the Ottawa expos and even at Comic Cons, which is kind of a fun place to have a gecko booth. But if anyone's interested, go check it out. They do have a Facebook page, the Ottawa Valley Reptile and Plant Expo page. And all the information's there. If you're interested in vending, if you want to see the list of who's going to be participating so far, I know that Green Space is be uploading information as he gets it and as the tables fill up. The other thing that I wanted to push out is there's a lot of giveaways going on for some breeders in Canada. So Supernova Cresties has their summer follower giveaway. So that's something that you want to check out. I think they're doing the draw tomorrow. So there's a last minute opportunity to enter in this one. And then we have, it's a Crawl Mart. I can't read from here and all my glasses. Crawl Mart is also having a giveaway as well. Isopods, you know, they do jumping spiders. So a lot of the little invert stuff. I know a lot of gecko people are super interested in that too. We also have EW Exotics is also doing a 1K giveaway. So they're looking to hit 1K follower mark. So if we can go and support anyone who hasn't supported, it's, even if it's not about like trying to win something, it's nice to win something, but to see a smaller breeder trying to make an effort to really encourage people to participate on their page and to share their page and to show their passion for the industry and the reptiles and what they're doing. So if you can support, I highly recommend it. YEG Cresties also just dropped their 1,000 follower giveaway as well, and they actually have a gecko up for grabs. So that would be, and if I'm missing any, because I mean they pop up, there's quite a few that kind of go around online. I try to grab the ones that I kind of remember to grab, but if ever you do have any other giveaways that pop up, send them my way, and I'm happy. Even if you have a giveaway that you're doing and you haven't seen it here and you want it promoted, send it, DM me, and I'm happy to post it up on here. And guys, I have my giveaway as well. I might actually do some little random draws and stuff depending on how I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little bit more generous, but I'm trying to get up to 1K as well. So that's what we got for giveaways so far. But again, if there's any other ones that are popping up, definitely send them my way and I am happy to share. And I think I have nothing else to banter about, and it's time to bring on our guest. Good morning, Christina. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. We're rocking both the red hair today.
Oh, definitely.
The first thing I noticed when I saw your Instagram pictures, I'm like, oh, someone else rocks the red hair. I'm not by myself.
Yeah, I've been rocking it for quite a few years now, and I don't plan on changing it anytime soon.
Yeah, and I actually find it's not a difficult color to like maintain either. Like some people have a bit of a struggle with red hair, but I think it depends on the
Yeah.
color that you use, right?
Yeah, and I mean, there's a difference between the dye and doing it yourself and going to a hairdresser. Like, I get it professionally done, and she
Okay.
does a very, very good job. And even when it fades to a nice, like, brownish red, so
Yeah.
it's not bad at all.
Yeah. You see, and I'm on the other side. I do it myself.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that at
That's
all.
why I had a specific color that I used for the longest time, and
Mhm.
during COVID, they stopped carrying it at the store where I would pick it up, as I mix it all myself and stuff, right? And it's more like of
Yep.
a highlight red that I use, but they ended up they didn't carry it anymore, and it took me forever to try to find it, and I finally found it at this place in Toronto, so I have to order it online. So I'll order like 5 containers at a time so I can stock up because I'm worried they're going to run out again.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
Yeah. So you have Spitfire Geckos. You want to tell
Yes.
everybody where the name come from? What made you think
Um,
of it?
okay, so the way that it's actually from song.
Okay.
I was listening to the band The Prodigy a lot at the time,
Oh, fun.
and prior to starting up breeding geckos, like with this current company, I was doing cosplay.
Okay.
And I was known as Firestarter Cosplay. Again, a
Nice.
play on one of their songs. So it just kind of worked out. I'm like, let me just transition it into geckos now. So that's kind of where it came from. And I mean, red hair kind of works, you know?
Yeah, it goes with the theme. It's funny, I
Yeah.
actually have a gecko that I hatched out, that's a tiger, and it's really bright orange, and named him Firestarter
Oh,
from the song.
nice.
I tend to try to, like, name different geckos after, songs or bands in, like, the '90s, or what it
Yep.
kinda seems to be a theme in this room, but,
No, exactly.
yeah, well, it's definitely a cool name, and I love the logo too, with the little they look like little fire-breathing dragons.
Right. Is it Neko Gecko Art is the one that
Okay.
designed it for me?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really
Cool.
great to deal with.
So how long have you been doing, Spitfire Geckos and breeding Crested Geckos all together?
So for Spitfire Geckos, I started in 2019, kind of when it seems like a lot of people were getting into it. And then COVID hit, so it was like a big thing for people to get
Yeah.
into. But prior to that, I have kept Crested Geckos before, and I had a different company as well, called oh God, I'm blanking on the name now because it was so long ago, but it was 2012 until 2015, I want to say. I
Okay.
was doing geckos. I
Okay.
didn't do vend or anything like that. It was very small. And then I decided to take a break, sold off everything, and went into cosplay, which is another very expensive hobby.
Yeah. I would imagine. So you made all your own costumes and stuff with the cosplay, eh?
So I mostly had them made for me, but I
Okay.
wore a lot of costumes that had custom corsets involved in it. So I
Oh,
dealt with
cool.
one specific custom corset vendor, and
Okay.
she would measure everything out. They were reversible as well, so it was really good
Okay.
to do like double
Neat.
costumes. And yeah, I ended up making a couple of costumes as well. Um, but yeah, it was just something that was fun at the time. Um, and then yeah, it just started getting really, really crowded, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like it became a lot more popular with all the Marvel movies coming out and things like that. So going to
Yeah.
Fan Expo, I have a little bit of like social anxiety. So um, it just got way too crowded for me.
Well, they
So
have a lot of new when they bring in some famous guests and stuff now. I know the Ottawa one
yes,
specifically too. They've really started to bring in some heavy hitters, right, to draw in the crowd. So I would
exactly.
imagine, like, I honestly, I can't say I've been to a Comic Con or anything like that. So that's something that I've been kind of interested in wanting to go and check out, but I've just never got around to doing it.
Yeah.
Um, but I wish I would have known this sooner. I would have had you send me pictures of you in your cosplay.
I can send them to you afterwards, no
Okay.
problem. Um, yeah, I will say I met a couple of really cool guests and stuff and got my pictures taken with them. I
Mhm.
got to meet Tim Curry, which was really neat.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, awesome. So would you say that he was probably like your top one that you were most excited to meet, or is there another one?
One of them for sure. Um, I got to meet Doug Briley, which is the original Pinhead,
Okay. Oh,
and
neat.
yeah, and he is such a nice man, just so down to
Okay.
earth, so humble. So I would say he's probably up there with even Tim Curry, but the price between like his photo op and Tim Curry's photo op is like way
Really, eh?
like expense wise, yeah.
So I'm guessing it'd be Tim Curry would be the one that's like, you gotta
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
everyone wants to meet him. He's like a
Yeah,
legend.
no, exactly. And it's funny when you're taking these photos, like especially with somebody as big as Tim Curry,
Yeah.
you don't really get to talk to them. It's like two
Okay.
seconds. Okay, you're done. Next, next. It's kind of like that. Um,
Yeah.
so it's not like you're really meeting them or getting to talk to
Gotcha.
them, but at least you can say, hey, I took a photo with this person. I got to say hi to them, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So I guess you've been to the Ottawa Comic Cons, like you've been, or you're near Toronto, right?
I
So
am. I'm
where are you
located
located?
in Mississauga.
Okay.
So that's within the GTA, so very close to Toronto. So I mainly was doing things in the GTA. So I
Okay.
did Niagara Falls Comic Con, Frightmare in the Falls. I think I went to Kitchener Comic Con as well,
Okay.
Fan Expo, and then the March Comic Con in Toronto.
Okay. I know, like I mentioned it before. I know Rosemere vends at some of the Comic Cons. Did they vend at any of the ones that you were at? Is that maybe the reason you got back into geckos?
So they
Seeing them?
started, as far as I know, they started vending those after I got out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a neat little segue with the
Yeah,
little it's kind of cool. Like I think it'd be different. You go there and then you see, oh, there's a gecko vendor here.
for sure. So it's funny. I think it was I was cosplaying as Sub-Zero, like a female version of Sub-Zero,
Okay.
and I was at Anime North, and it was the same weekend as a reptile show. And this is
Okay.
when they were at Danzu Park.
Okay.
So I was in full gear, full, like, I had the mask on and everything. And I'm like, okay, I need feeders or something. Let me pop by into the reptile expo. And I was gonna go and I was gonna like at least take off the wig that I had on and the mask, but the mask had made my face blue underneath from the paint. So I had to go in full on. But it was like I was getting more attention than the geckos were.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny just to see everybody taking photos and stuff and not recognizing who I was at the time.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
have you vended yet with Spitfire Geckos?
I have not. I've
Okay.
been wanting to, and I am going to be helping out a vendor at the September show.
Okay, the CRB, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I'll be at the booth with Chantel's Critters.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll see me
So
there.
whenever you start vending, you can have a little good segue where you can wear a little bit of cosplay and like play a character behind your booth.
Well,
It could be your thing.
oh, definitely. I mean, so when I was doing cosplay, I was known as Phoenix from X-Men. And so
Okay.
I have like her dark Phoenix costume, I have the white Phoenix costume. So it would be
Right.
interesting to cosplay in those while vending. However, I will say that they are extremely warm to
Yeah.
wear.
I would imagine
Just
it's probably not the most practical thing to wear. Like if you're there for
no,
2 days straight for long days, it would be
exactly. Yeah.
a little tricky, right?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I could make up my own character based on my the company name. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I thought of I was thinking of kind of like instead of wearing, the Gecko Diva shirt and all that, kind of like doing a bit of the style of my logo and stuff, where it's like
Hmm.
more like a pinup style, or like and kind of get dressed up a little bit like that. But then I was
Yeah.
like, how am I going to stand there for 2 days straight in heels and
Yeah.
try to rock this? I'm going to be so uncomfortable. So I'm like, maybe I'll do it in like little like
Yeah, I mean,
short
like
stints, but
you could wear like flats in between, go behind the
yeah,
booth and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna step out of these heels for a bit.
right. Because I'm like, oh, I want to embody like the Gecko Diva, and I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like kind of make something a little different and like be one with the booth. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna. Hence the gym. I'm trying to get a little bit more fit, so I can
Yeah,
get back.
yeah.
Maybe
No,
I'll be able
I
to
hear
stand
you.
in heels a little bit longer than like 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's pop up your geckos and we can start talking about
Sure.
your geckos and then the different projects that you're working with. So who's this guy here?
So that's Better Ray Bill. He I acquired him from Rogue Cresties, who was out in BC.
Yep,
And she named him actually.
fun
She
name.
names everything after Marvel characters. So
Oh,
that's,
cool.
yeah. There's lots of them, so she's got her pick of them.
Yeah.
Um, and he is out of Creamy Face and Jubilee. Jubilee is a red-based female,
Okay.
like red and cream. And Creamy Face was more like cream and lavender. A little bit lighter than him, I think. He's more of like a dark lav.
Yeah.
But because he has the red lineage, I'd like to pair him to a red in the future.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, did you buy him originally because then you thought the name was cool?
I mean, it's a cool name for sure, but I fell in love with him even before knowing his name. I saw him and just the amount of coverage that he has, the
Yeah.
cream and the little bit of snowflaking that he does carry.
Yeah.
Plus his structure is amazing too. That's really what I am after is the structure as well
Yeah.
as the pattern. Um, so yeah, he's just a ham. Like he's just a total goofball.
And Tammy
So it's
says she
hard not
loves
to fall in love with
lavenders.
him.
I have to agree, Tammy. I love lavenders too.
Yeah.
I have quite a few lavenders here. So your plan with him is you're looking to maybe bring out some of the reds with him, right? Like
Yes.
and try to produce some high coverage reds and um yeah, and like I know I had a pairing here was a red extreme Harley and the male looks similar to him.
Hmm.
And the reds that I got were like a coral red. Like they were so vibrant and the snowflaking just looks crazy on them, eh? Like it's just so much like
Yeah.
coverage and pattern and be really exciting to see. Have you bred him yet or not yet?
So I bred him to another lav, which is Dreamcatcher,
Okay.
and she only produced two babies. Unfortunately, they were born premature, so they
Oh
were
no.
um, yeah, they were only alive for a short little bit, and then they passed. But yeah, I think maybe giving her more of a break, because
Yeah.
she did have 10 babies her first season with
Okay.
me.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So just giving her more of a break to recoup, and yeah, just focusing him more on the red side.
Yeah.
So I do have a female in mind for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now who's this? Look at the crest. He's so cute.
He's adorable. So that's Hellebore. He is from Cryptiles, who I highly recommend. Also an awesome USA breeder to deal with. And he is from Nacho and Rotten Banana.
Okay. Some funny names, eh?
I know, I know. I'm like, for food names, those are pretty good.
Yeah, right? Nacho and rotten banana.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, I did not expect him to explode with the drippiness and like again, like the snowflakey bits that
Yeah.
he has, compared to when I first got him. But he is not even 2 years old and he's almost 40 grams.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to be a big boy.
So he
And
loves the
again,
food,
the
eh?
structure is there. He almost has like a tangerine base to him, like to the cream, which would be really interesting to pair him to the right female to bring that out even more.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's he's
My husband is saying, looking for names around the kitchen. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Like, and he's
sometimes,
probably,
yeah, right?
I feel like that's like a jab at me regarding the rotten bananas
No,
because he gives me such a hard time because I buy so many bananas and then some like I do eat them, but I keep telling myself that I'm going to eat them more than I do. And
yeah,
then they just sit there. And then you wait and you're like, "Oh, I'm going to make banana bread." And like that never happens because yeah, and, like let's be real. Like who's making banana bread when it's, 30 plus degrees outside? Like do you
I
really want to
know.
put your
Well,
oven on? It's barbecue season.
exactly. It's like the freezer is where bananas go to die officially
Yeah,
because you
right?
won't ever make the banana bread.
And then he says, yeah, they should look for names in the garage. And then you can start naming things like Makita or, like after all your power tools.
Allen wrench.
Yeah, right? Monkey Wrench. That's a cute name. That was
That's
actually
not
on
bad.
my list. That was on my list of names for one of my geckos, but that's just because Foo Fighters has a song
Yeah,
called
I was
Monkey
gonna
Wrench.
say it's a song. Yeah,
It falls in line with, the 90s theme.
exactly.
So what's the plan for this guy?
So again, he is, I want to say, kind of a lav. Like when he's fired down, you can definitely see more of the lav. But in that picture in particular, he kind of looks more like a brown mix, I
Yeah.
want to say. So I would like to pair him to either probably a dark female,
Okay.
and just have the pattern explode and see where it goes.
Yeah, and the snowflaking makes it a lot easier too, eh? When you when you're
Exactly.
strategically pairing, where you can really expect that you won't see it right off the get-go, but as they those are geckos you're gonna hold back a little bit longer before you decide
Exactly.
which ones you're letting go.
Yeah.
And who's this one?
So that's Enigma. He is also from Rogue Cresties. He
Okay,
is out of Flurkin and Broken Haiku.
okay.
And both of those geckos are just absolutely gorgeous. But um, from what I recall, he doesn't look like either one of them.
Oh, okay, so
Which,
he's like a weird, offshoot.
which is perfectly fine for me. He's got a little bit of like orange in there, but he's more of a white wall full pin.
Yeah,
Um, Again, gorgeous structure. He's only about 15 grams right now,
okay.
but I expect him to definitely explode even more. He's got a lot of drippiness to him as well, which I love drippy geckos. I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, they seem
and
to be a popular, because it's just so pretty. Like, how can you not like a gecko with a lot of dripping?
I know,
It
no, for
just
sure.
it pops, especially when you have like a contrast, within the
Yes.
color.
Yeah, and his base is just so, so dark. Like it's definitely like as close to black as I have seen. So
Yeah,
just having that contrast and then that like crisp cream white on the white wall is
yeah,
just it's stunning.
yeah. I like white walls. There's something to be
Yes,
said about them. I find they're really nice. They really pop.
definitely.
And when you sent me the pictures, this one was my absolute favorite. She's so cute.
So she's my favorite too. She's definitely a heart gecko for me. I don't think I'll ever sell her. That's Vermilion, and she is from Northern Gecko.
Okay.
I believe I got her. I'm trying to remember where I acquired her from. I think it was from another breeder for sure.
Okay.
Um, and she's taken quite a while to get up to size and like produce decent duds for me to pair with
Okay.
a male. But she finally did that, and I decided to pair her with a lily white for the first
Ooh.
time. And yeah, I got two offspring so far. And they're not lily whites, but they're still gorgeous geckos. And
What
the base,
base what
sorry, go
base for
ahead.
the lily? Sorry, I was gonna ask what base on the lily is it? Like base color.
So he's kind of like a dark, it's kind of like a lavender almost.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
he's almost like full coverage lily, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Very high white.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It's disappointing, eh? Like I know when I did my first lily pairing last year, it probably wasn't till like the fifth hatchling that came out that I got lilies. And I
Yeah,
was like, you wait for so long and then you're like, oh, right, two eggs are hatching. You're like, oh, no lilies. And another two eggs hatching. Oh, no lilies. So it's very exciting when they finally like pop out of there and then you get the lily white and they're so pretty when they first hatch because they're so bright and vibrant.
exactly. I mean, I'm sure it's the same for all the other like I want to say like extreme morphs like the xanthics and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like when those pop out of the egg, everybody gets really, really excited because it's like,
Yeah.
yes, I've hit that.
Yeah, right, yeah, especially, like, the recessive ones, like the xanthics, where
Yeah,
you're, like especially if you're pairing, like, a het to het because you're like, "Oh, chances 1 in 4." Then it pops out, you're like,
yeah,
"Oh, right, I hit it."
exactly. So I do have two head xanthics that I am raising up right now. They're both juveniles, so
Okay,
they'll still take a bit, but the female is 100% head xanthic from AE.
okay,
And then the male is 50% het. So
okay.
we'll see how it goes. I mean, if I kind of bought the male on a whim. He's gorgeous anyway, so I'm like, at least if
Yeah.
I'm not producing Xanthics, they'll be pretty babies.
Yeah, and you hope to prove it out in the season and fingers crossed, you know, that
Exactly.
it is 100% het. Yeah, Xanthic is a weird gene in Canada because there's not many people that work with it. So I got my first visual one um from Modern Gecko. So I do have a male visual Xanthic that I'm growing up. And I got 100% het female off of Northern Gecko. So she's getting close to weight, but she's still got, you know, I'm gonna give her some time, and the visual is nowhere near right now ready to breed anyways, because
Mm,
he's like 15 grams, right? He's still got a
yeah.
lot of growing to do. Um, but one thing I'm specifically looking for is high white pattern, like high pattern females that I want to eventually pair to the visual Xanthic because the phantom gene is so heavily present
Mhm.
in Xanthic. And I can't like I haven't really seen, other than when it's paired with lily white, any high coverage white on an Xanthic, and you usually only see like the pinstriping, right? Because you have the
Right.
pinstriping, the empty back, or the phantom, which is really what seems to be tied. And I guess it makes sense because a lot of them, when they're breeding Xanthic to Xanthic and they're, you know, producing more of that gene, that it that het phantom follows through. So even if you have like two geckos that are not phantom, and then you're pairing them because they're 100% each het Xanthic, or even if you're using a visual, you still have those het phantoms that linger in and tend to for some reason attach themselves to it.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to see what else they'll be able to do with Xanthic. Like, it's still so new, and it's really
definitely.
hard here because not a lot of people are working with them.
Yeah. No, exactly. Or they are and they just aren't saying.
Yeah, they're either not saying, or you have some people who got them that are just wanting to just make more Xanthics, right? Which
Yeah,
is fine. It's fair because, you know, because we don't have so many. One, they're priced very high here in
exactly.
comparison to in the States. Um, and you have limited options to choose from when you're shopping for it. But I
Yeah.
think like even like with the cappuccino, that's another one too that's really lacking in Canada.
Hmm.
That you see is now really starting to kind of pop up, but you're only seeing now like what cappuccino can do. Like people are
No,
now
exactly.
producing colors in cappuccino, right? And
Hmm.
really seeing like how much you can really play with that genetic. So it's going to take some time, but like,
Oh,
you
definitely.
have your hats? Do you have anything else other than the Xanthics that you're looking to work with? That's like a newer gene, or
Um, to be quite honest, not at the moment. I kind of just want to focus on what I currently have instead of expanding into more things.
yeah,
Um, just to kind of keep my focus on what I currently have and not
yeah,
kind of spread myself too thin, if that makes sense.
yeah. So what's the plan with her? Like, are you going to be doing a red project with her, or
So,
like
apart
you
from
said you have her too with the lily, right? That's what you were saying.
yes, so I had her with the Lily. I have recently repaired her as well because she only gave me she gave me 4 eggs total,
Okay.
and out of each clutch, only one baby hatched. The other eggs went bad. So I only
Okay.
have 2 babies from her.
Okay.
Both are not lilies. So I did repair her to him, and I saw that happen, so it definitely took.
Yeah.
um, so now it's kind of like a waiting game to see if she's able to produce more or I should give her a break. And if I do have to
Mhm.
give her a break, then it'll be obviously the rest of the season.
Mhm.
Maybe part of next. I'm not entirely sure, just to see how she does.
Yeah.
For me, it's more important that she's healthy as opposed
Yeah.
to trying to get what I want out of her.
Yeah.
Um,
That's fair.
yeah, I just don't want her to crash at all,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's refreshing to hear that, because I think, you can get too easily sucked into, I really want to do this pairing. I really want to produce this. But like, it's important to kind of keep that aspect where like the animal welfare should be number one priority. And if you're seeing like
Yeah,
things are not working out, maybe they need a break, kind of like troubleshooting that, and giving them that time to kind of rest
yeah,
is
no,
kind of nice.
exactly. I mean, so it's the same with like enclosure size and things like that. Some geckos do better in like a big enclosure, like
Yeah.
bigger than the standard.
Hmm.
I keep majority of mine in bins just because it retains the humidity. For the females, I don't do partial bioactive. For the males, I do as of right now.
Yeah.
But some of them, I put them in a larger bin setup and they just don't do well.
Yeah.
So I found that by downsizing them a little bit and no- in the bigger enclosure, it can be as covered with foliage and hides and things, and they just don't do well.
Yeah, I
Um,
find that with males too specifically.
mhm,
Sometimes they tend to kinda huddle in a corner and they just don't do as well in a large enclosure, but the moment you downsize them to something a bit
yeah,
smaller, they're all over the place, they're, eating again, and you're not having the same issues.
yeah, exactly. So I find it's very important to just keep an eye on little things like that
Yeah,
because they can like with cresteds and really all reptiles, they can go downhill very quickly.
yeah,
And it can be within a couple of days. So it's very
yeah,
important to just monitor everything, do spot checks, everything like that. Make
yeah,
sure they're all doing well. And the health of them is way more important to me than any project.
yeah. You hear it here, guys.
Yeah.
Check your animals. Keep an
Yeah,
eye on them. Get to
exactly.
know them. So who's this little one?
So this little one, I haven't named it yet, but it's the offspring of Vermilion and the
Okay,
Lily White.
okay,
Um, since this photo was taken, it has started dripping more, and
okay.
that white cream on the sides has expanded a bit upwards too. So I'm
Oh, nice.
expecting it to progress rather nicely. Not sure if it's base color just yet. It's definitely more of an orange than like a pink or a red right now, but it
Yeah.
could definitely progress into a red.
If I had
Um,
to guess, it's probably gonna go more reddish.
yeah,
Just from the experience of the ones that I've had here that look similar to that color when they're
yeah.
little. Like, it's so surprising at how long it takes for red to really kick in.
Reds are like my favorite, but they're the hardest, I swear.
And you
And it's
tend to
hard to
kinda
get like,
see it,
yeah,
like,
it's hard to get
when they
like a
hatch,
bright
eh?
red as opposed to like a
Yeah.
muddy red, right?
Yeah, when they hatch, you can kinda see, like, they more burgundy-ish look to them, but, like,
Yeah,
it is one that takes a while to settle in, and especially, like, to see whether or not you're gonna get, like, a bright red or, like you're saying, like, an orangey red or a muddy red, they're
yeah,
very tricky, but,
no, exactly.
it looks like it's aiming towards that direction, so
No, for
fingers
sure.
crossed if you're hoping for red.
Definitely hoping for red, not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind if it stayed like an orangey reddish color either, as long as it's a
Yeah,
nice contrast to the cream. That's
yeah,
all I can hope for.
yeah. So you have, aside from cresteds, you have a couple other like gecko species that you care for. Is it like you want to
Yes,
share which ones you have?
sure. So I have a trio of Urodactylodes villiardae,
Okay.
and I just got two good eggs from one of the females. I keep that in a bioactive enclosure.
Okay.
And I just was replanting and I was digging up stuff, found two eggs. I'm like, oh, that's a nice surprise. Okay, let's incubate
Yeah, they're
those a little bit
sneaky
more.
little buggers.
Yeah. So I have those. I have the Hawaiian mourning geckos as
Okay.
well.
I have one of
Um,
those too, and it likes to hide a lot. I got to
yeah,
redo its coat enclosure.
mine like to hide a lot as well.
Yeah,
They're not. I've seen people posting the morning geckos being like handleable and like
I don't
they
know
can
how
come
they do that.
out and like they're licking up the Pangea right in front of these people, and I'm like, that's not mine. I don't know what you're
No, I
talking
don't
about.
know how they get a picture of one in their hand. Like, I don't know how that's
I don't
even
know.
possible.
No. I mean,
Yeah,
I can catch them in my hand, and I've gone to the point where like I can just grab them and hold on to them. They don't like
yeah,
it very much, but
yeah,
it's more to like move them and clean the enclosure because you never know
yeah,
when one is gonna like jump out of the enclosure and then get lost, right? So
yeah.
I'd rather take them out, clean it, put them back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have those. I have a lone gargoyle gecko female. She's
Okay.
red striped. Currently on the lookout for a male for her. What else? I have a leaf tail gecko, also a
Okay.
male. And he's one that I will look for a female for eventually.
Mhm.
Really interesting species to keep for sure.
Yeah.
They're pure insectivores. They don't feed on Pangea at all.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, when they hunt, they're very, very agile and very good at it.
No,
It's really
neat.
interesting to see. Um, and I have, let's see, I also have an African fat tail gecko female.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking to get into maybe for breeding like the gargs and the leaf tails eventually? It's kind of one of those
Yes.
long-term projects, something that you're going to want to
Exactly.
add.
Yeah. It's something that like for the Garg, um, I want to learn her behavior a little bit more because from do you keep Gargs at all?
So yeah, we have a couple gargs here, but they're strictly for pets. Like
Yeah.
I'm personally not looking to expand into breeding gargs. Like I have a Yuri as well, a little male, and a morning gecko, but like they're just really because I wanted to kind of have different geckos as
No, for sure.
pets. But yeah,
Um, so I find with mine, they're very reclusive.
yeah,
Like they're
I find
definitely
mine
not a
too.
crested gecko. They're very like
Yeah,
I want to say shy, but yeah, just reclusive. They're not like as like floppy as a crested gecko. They're
I
more
always
just
find
like
when I open the bins and you see the Cresties, they look at you and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They have that like dumb look on their face, right? And
yep.
then you open like the enclosures with the gargs, and they look at you and like, "Who are you? What do you want?" They kind of have like a bit of a different personality. They're more
Oh,
standoffish.
definitely. Yeah, for sure. So just learning their behaviors and things like that. I do find them interesting. I want to say that they're a little bit more intelligent than the Cresties.
Yeah, they got
You
two
can see
brain
that
cells
there's a
instead
little
of
bit more
one.
going on behind those eyes.
And
But I'm more waiting for just finding the right male for her.
yeah, and I think too with your, it's not that you're limited with gargs, but like I'm of the opinion like if you're going to start something and you're only going to do like a small breeding project, you want to have something that you're focused on, like if let's say you're working on, you want to do one pairing and let's focus on high reds or like something
Exactly.
very specific instead of just breeding for the sake of breeding. So I'm sure that's kind of the thought process that you have where you're like I'm trying to find the right
Yes,
pairing for this,
exactly.
right?
Because I know that a few people have crossed the stripes with the blotched, and you
Yeah.
can kind of see it when you're looking at them as well in their pattern and such.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for one that's specifically just striped, but like very, very saturated red,
Yeah.
which, so,
Right? Yeah, I know, like, everybody wants a Deadpool baby
yes,
because they're so nice.
they are. Yeah,
And
no,
my
for sure.
husband's saying, "I got 2 gargoyles as a pet." Yes, we know. I feed them. Yeah, so he got the gargoyles because he wants them to feed the loose crickets. Like he wants to feed them the loose crickets that get in his snake room. So
Okay.
it was Brian from Altitude Exotics. In one of his videos, he said that he had a tokay gecko that kept escaping all the time. So
Hmm.
now he just has this tokay gecko loose in his room and it eats all the loose crickets. And for some reason, my husband has the idea that his gargoyle gecko is going to do that, but it's
I
like
would
so
say
tiny.
more
Probably not.
no, I would say if once your morning gecko starts reproducing, let a bunch of those loose and then you'll
Yeah.
solve that problem.
Yeah, right? So you also do inverts and stuff. Like you're telling me you were really into moths.
Yes. So it's just recently that I started really getting into the different moth species.
Yeah.
I tried, it was last year, I got a few different varieties of silk moths from a local
Pop,
breeder.
pop them up. So some of you guys that I know I feed them to my Cresties, but these lovely little silkworms,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
they turn
so
into
I find them cute, you know, and
yeah.
I currently have about 50 right now, and these are from last season.
So these are ones that
And
you ended up producing, like from
yes, yeah,
awesome sky puppies.
yes.
Yeah, they're so cute because they are so fluffy and kind of like weird looking. But yeah, they I had some hornworms and I was successful in having them hatch into moths. Or I don't know, is the proper term hatch? I guess I don't know if it's hatch or is there another term for that when they like break out of their little cocoon?
Um, I would say hatch is probably a good term for sure. I'm
Yeah.
probably saying it wrong, so I apologize to all the invert people, but I'm gonna go with
Anyone
hatch as
knows?
well.
Put it in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Emerge from their cocoon. I think that's the word.
Yes.
Emerge. I don't know.
So there's somebody that I follow on Instagram, and I believe she's in the States, and all she does is she breeds silkworms, and she
Okay.
says it's purely for the joy of having the moths. They don't
Okay.
last very long. I believe it's only for a week or like 3 to 5 days,
Oh
and
wow.
all they're doing is breeding. They don't
It,
eat, they
they
don't
don't, eh?
drink, they don't do anything else. They just breed.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, like I haven't been able to get a moth from a silkworm yet. They silk up quite a bit, and then mine I either have fed them all off by the time we get there, or they ended up dying. Like I for some reason, like they just don't last as long. The hornworms though is a whole other story. Like at one point I had like 7 pupae, like just
Wow.
yeah, ready to go. And they're not really that exciting when they hatch. They're like just these chunky little brown moths. They're not as cute as these guys.
Yeah.
And then you have these ones, eh? These are kind of cool.
Yes. So these are the Cecropia moth caterpillars. Um, these are what stage mine are currently at. So these photos
Okay.
I took yesterday. Um,
Okay.
and eventually they'll end up being, yeah, that. It's one of the largest, it's actually a type of silk moth,
Okay.
but they are native to Canada.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you
you
can
can,
kind of tell they have that fluffiness, eh, to them,
yeah,
similar to
yeah,
the
and the
silk
little
moth.
antennas too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very cute.
So are you're hoping you haven't produced the moths yet.
Not
You
yet,
have
no.
so you're hoping to get there at some
I'm
point.
hoping, yeah. I mean, they just to produce the moths and just to have them
Mhm.
would definitely be an accomplishment. Another one of my hobbies is macro photography. So
Okay. Oh, neat.
yeah, so it's really just for the photography aspect
Yeah,
of
my
it.
husband Googled it. He says emerge final answer.
All right.
It
We'll
emerges.
stamp that in.
Okay, we'll stamp that in, yeah. So if like, where do you even go about, like, if you wanted to get into moths and you're looking and you're wanting to, like, get, the caterpillar or, to go through the whole process, like, who even, like, are there breeders? Are there people that carry them? Are there, like, I would
Yes.
imagine they're not like, I know some insects are not allowed. Like, you have, only the native species you're allowed for, like, praying mantises, for instance, but I guess it's not necessarily the same as moths. Like, you can find people who sell them or
So actually only native species, as far as I know, are legal to keep
okay.
because otherwise they will possibly disrupt the whole like diversity and like ecosystem that is currently in place. So you don't want that
Gotcha.
at
Yeah,
all.
okay.
Um, so I found for the Cecropia moths, I found somebody off of Kijiji. And funny enough,
Okay,
I had already followed him on Instagram. So I
okay,
can link that in for
okay.
anybody that wants.
My husband
Um,
with the sly comments says, "Go outside and get some," because it's that easy.
I mean, if you can find them, for sure.
Yeah,
I would love to find them and not have to pay for them, but
right?
Um, so that's currently one. So when I bought them as eggs, and they're like tiny, tiny. They're like smaller than a grain of rice.
Oh, wow.
And within a couple of days, they just hatched out, and they're pure black when they hatch out.
Okay.
And then you basically have to know what they feed on, and it's
Yeah,
pretty much local leaf matter or like plant
okay.
life.
So you're just
So I
grabbing branches of, like, leaves and stuff, and you're just putting that in there for them.
pretty much, yeah, because that's the primary purpose of the caterpillars is just eat,
Yeah,
eat, eat. They gain all of their hydration through the leaves as well. So they can't be dry, but they can't be wet either.
yeah,
So I tend to just rinse them off with water, pat them down dry, and then I feed it to the moths.
okay.
And I'm very lucky that a lot of the plant life in my backyard, we don't spray here at all.
Mhm.
And the local park also doesn't spray. So
Okay.
that's why I have, I guess, a higher success rate with the moths and what I've been currently been able to feed them.
Now my husband's saying he's gonna go herping for moths, and apparently he's gonna record himself doing it live tonight. Have at it.
That would be a lot of fun.
You're the one who doesn't like bugs, so where are you keeping said moths? Because I know that you're not a fan of bugs in the house.
How does he do with
Especially
spiders?
moths. He doesn't like them, but I have them here. So they're in my room, they're contained. I believe that was the sole reason or initially that he built me this separate room was because
Okay.
I got a couple tarantulas on Tarantula Canada online and had them delivered to the house. And then I was keeping them in his reptile room and he was
Mhm.
probably like, "No. This is where I draw the line. We're going to give you your own side."
Oh my God. So I keep arachnids as well. So I
Okay.
have three jumping spiders. I have a wolf spider, and I have quite a few tarantulas as well. So
Okay. I mean, they're fun. I think it's neat. It's the information piece, like where they come from, and like to see the
for sure,
process of them growing. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, they're definitely just look at and like observe kind of animal, but
definitely, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's not something that you want to handle very often, if at all.
no,
Um, I know for me, I don't handle mine at all,
same.
really. Yeah.
Same. And I have my Asian forest scorpion Howard, and he's entertaining every time I spray water in there. He attacks the water with his claws.
I love that name, Howard.
Howard. Yeah. Howard, my scorpion. Yeah, he's quite entertaining, that gun. So if anyone wants to find you online, where can they find you? Want to drop your socials?
Sure. I am on Facebook, primarily on Instagram, though. You can message me anytime and I'll pretty much answer right away. I have my website as well. And yeah, those are the three places.
So they just got to look up Spitfire Geckos on Instagram, and your website is at spitfiregeckos.com, I'm
It
guessing,
is, yeah.
or it is awesome.
Yeah.
And so I'll add I think I have your Instagram stuff in the bottom, but if anyone wants to go and see all the cool stuff that she has, she posts very regularly. Go and check out Christina on Spitfire Geckos. And thank you very much for joining us today. I'm going to pop you in the back room, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, thanks.
Hi, everyone. Well, that was fun. I love chatting with Christina. I'm definitely going to have to hit her up for those pictures of her all in, her comic attire, her cosplay. Hope everyone has a great rest of your Sunday. For the Canadians, hope you guys enjoy a happy Canada Day, and don't party too hard, or do whatever you want. Have fun, party it up. We're getting good weather for once. It's not going to rain, it looks like, which is pretty awesome, unless they've changed it since last I've checked. But yeah, thank you guys for dropping in, and catch you next Sunday.
Shake your dreams from your hair. I'm already there, right beside you.